What's good, guys? Welcome to my lame YouTube channel. My name is Marby. Not really anything special, just some dude trying to make videos. If you don't know me, so first off, I want to apologize to anyone who's been subscribed to me for the last 2 months. I did say that I was gonna make videos on a more regular schedule. I lied. So I want to apologize about that. I'm trying my best to learn how to video edit and bring higher quality videos to you guys. Second, I want to apologize to people that I told that I would be posting a nutrition video to today. I wanted to post the first video of a two-part series that I will be covering. It would be called, it's called Nutrition 101. And I wanted to talk about basically fat, proteins, and carbohydrates, what their caloric values are, what they represent, and what they do to our body, and basically how to track them and yada yada yada, bunch of all that stuff. Reason being is because I feel like a lot of people struggle with the nutrition part of their fitness journeys, and not too many people, or there's not too many resources out there. I lied. There's a bunch of resources out there, but not too many people take the time to really dive into that. So that's something that I wanted to cover in the very near future. But something else did cross my mind that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. It's something that I struggle with personally, and it's a topic that I feel like would help a lot of people. It's basically the idea of what happens when you form a habit and you fall off track, when you form a good habit and you basically stop doing it. I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and this applies to a lot of things in life, not just maintaining a diet or not just going to the gym. It applies to a lot of things like flossing your teeth or getting enough sleep at night, making your bed in the morning, stop spending money type of thing. It's something that applies to almost every aspect of your life, building these habits, building these good habits, and maintaining them. So, first thing is first, I wanted to talk about what a habit is. Second, I wanted to discuss basically, how you build these habits or what the general discourse is on this. Basically, how long it takes to build these habits, how to maintain these habits, and what happens when you fall off track. So, we're going to talk about that. Basically, we're going into the definition of what a habit is. And for the most part, a habit is a routine of behavior that is uh, repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. So things like taking number two in the morning when you need to, or at a specific time of day, taking a smoke when you're stressed and need to de-stress, or tapping your foot, or for example, like me, you might have noticed me saying in between words. I do that subconsciously. It's a habit that I have, whether it be good or bad. I'm not too sure, but it's something that I do, and things like that. But something I want to talk about is that habits don't have to happen, subconsciously. They just tend to happen subconsciously. A habit can be something that you do, knowingly for your own good because you do it out of need to maintain that routine or structure in your life. And so now that we got, that basic definition of a habit, I want to talk about, the question now becomes, how long does it usually take to build a habit? And you might have heard the saying that it takes 21 days to build a habit. That's not necessarily true. That's like a half myth going around that a lot of people tend to believe in. The more accurate range, according to James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. I'm going to be linking his website on the bottom description down below. He is the author of Atomic Habits, and according to him, it takes around anywhere from 18 days to 254 days to form a habit, depending on the person. So, your mom might take 18 days to, form a good habit. You might take you 90 days. So I just wanted to address that, half myth going around that it takes 21 days to build a habit, because I find that People tend to believe these things, and when it doesn't occur for them, they tend to be discouraged and they tend to just stop altogether with trying. So what works for one person, or the length of one person, might be different compared to yours, but I just wanted to let you know that it's good to keep going and to keep trying to form that habit. Because yes, even if it were true that it does take 21 days to build a habit, it takes a lifetime to maintain and to consistently, keep up with a good habit. It's something that you got to keep going and keep working at and keep practicing. It's a practice. And so, with that being said, a lot of people will struggle with, you know, continuously, you know, doing a good habit. For me, my personal struggle is maintaining the habit of going to the gym. I used to have a really good habit of going 6 times a week, just about a year ago, until I popped my left shoulder. I've been struggling ever since, but I'm trying my best. I just know that sometimes it's best to just go and to suck it up, because I know that's not something that happens subconsciously. I know that's something that is on my psyche and on my mental that I need to do for myself, and it's not on no one else but myself. And I need to hold myself accountable for that. And so, for example, I want to talk about that. So, what happens when you fall off of that whole fitness bandwagon and that good habit of going to the gym on a weekly basis, almost every single day? Um, first off, I want to say that it's okay to fall off, and it's okay to, break that habit sometimes. But what's not okay is giving up on it. Um, what happens in your past does not affect who you are, or does not equal your future. If you want to change, you have to do it now. If you want to build that habit, you got to build it now. And if you want to maintain that habit, you got to do it now. So yes, although you might have fallen off track, you might have eaten like, 2 pounds of pound cake, some ice cream, a whole pizza. That is inevitable and bound to happen, because we are human and we are prone to mistakes. And so you just have to know, all because you did that yesterday or all because you did that today, it does not define your future. We're always changing and we're always trying to improve. So that's just something I wanted you guys to know. All right. And number 2, Rome was not built in a day. As cliche as that sounds, you have to take the necessary steps and you have to take the little steps to get to where you want to be. And that literally applies to almost anything in life. You can't just all of a sudden become a master of, playing the piano, or all of a sudden, doing 200 reps or bench pressing 400 pounds. It's something that requires practice, and it's something that needs to be repeated regularly in order to happen. You have to practice your habits. And so when I say this, I'm saying this so you don't, overwhelm yourself, both physically and mentally. Because if you overwhelm yourself, trying to do too much at once and too quickly, you're more likely to keep falling off track. You have to condition your mind and also your body to keep doing these things. So, for example, if you're going to the gym, very first time ever, just going in there and doing something light and, maybe 20 minutes of cardio, or like 5 minutes of cardio, whatever you can do, right? And a couple reps, and just being familiar with, the weights and how to perform the basic movements, and just making sure that, that you're not overwhelming yourself physically and mentally. Because, if you fall off track, you're going to be more inclined not to do it. You're going to be more inclined to be discouraged from continuing to go. You might even hurt yourself if you're trying to do too much at once. And I know that all far too well. I was trying to increase my personal record on the military press, and I went 40 pounds too heavy because, it felt too light. And I ended up injuring myself. And as a result, I never even got to practice my habit, because it was more danger to myself to keep going while injured and hurting myself. So, that's just something to consider when you're trying to build good habits. They're not something that happen overnight. I really wish they were, but life is like that. Success isn't necessarily always found overnight. For the most part, it never is. A lot of these things, they happen because you take the necessary steps and the little steps to get where you want to be. And if you ever feel like quitting, if you ever feel like it's too much, it's okay to pace yourself, and it's okay to slow down and make sure that you're able to do things at your rate. Don't compare yourself to others. Make sure that you're comfortable with what you're doing. And that basically brings us to number three. Something that I wanted to talk about was the idea of, clearing your head and meditating, dealing with things internally or externally. Basically, learning how to deal with failure and knowing when and recognizing where you went wrong, when you went wrong, and correcting those so that we can learn from our mistakes, because it's just so important to realize that we are human and we make mistakes and we're prone to them. And so, if you realize that you're not where you want to be and you've been trying to form a habit, form a good habit, that is, and it's taking a while, maybe it's time to evaluate and meditate for a bit, or write it down and journal what you're feeling, and journal what went wrong, and try to analyze things so that way we can, or you can, improve, and just make sure to, you know, know, make sure to know where to build on. Um, Sometimes it takes a little bit of taking time to ourselves to realize and recognize these things that are going on with us. So, for example, maybe you go to the gym and you're trying to hit a new PR, and you've been plateaued trying to hit 480 on the bench press. That's a ridiculous number, but you get what I'm saying. You're plateaued and you're trying to elevate yourself. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and check what you're doing wrong. It might be that you're not eating enough, or it might be you're getting a lack of sleep. And that doesn't even have to apply to just building a habit or things at the gym. It's just more to do with just life in general. It's always good to take a step back and evaluate and see and recognize if we're really going in the right direction of where we want to be. Because at the end of the day, it's important to improve on, improve on what we're doing already, and recognizing where we can improve. So, with that being said, I just want to say thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great day. Trying to elevate yourself. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and, check what you're doing wrong. It might be that you're not eating enough, or it might be you're getting a lack of sleep. And that doesn't even have to apply to just building a habit or things at the gym. It's just more to do with just life in general. It's always good to take a step back and evaluate and see and recognize if we're really going in the right direction of where we want to be. Because at the end of the day, it's important to improve on, improve on what we're doing already, and recognizing where we can improve. So, with that being said, I just want to say thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great day.